Self-publishing is hard, but it doesn't have to be impossible. With these tips and tricks, you'll be able to turn your self-publishing dreams into a reality. Welcome to the Self-Publisher's Bible.
In our last video, we discussed outlining a novel. This time, we are going in deeper and discussing how to outline and plan chapters in your book. Instead of thinking of chapters as a part of your novel, think of them as short stories that are interconnected with each other. The biggest complaint we hear from new writers trying to write their first books is, I want to write a book, but I can only write a good 5-page short story. Good. If you can write a short story, you can write a chapter. And here's how you do it. First, we recommend having a single Word document per chapter. This drives home the idea of treating your chapter as a short story. When you are finished with writing a chapter, open a new Word document and write another short story chapter. But how and what do I write about? That's where the outline comes into play. Here's an example of an outline. Here at the top, we have the tagline. A tagline tells you the action that will happen during that chapter. It doesn't need to be descriptive. In fact, the more vague, the better. For example, your character finds a terrible secret. What is the terrible secret? How does your character find it? Those are all the questions you get to answer in this chapter. Under the tagline are the big 5 moments in your chapter. These moments are vague, so you can build on them later. Here, we have discovers affair, confronts cheater, finds hidden money, hears bad conversation, and finds hidden tape. Underneath all these moments, plan out at least 5 bullet points. Here is where you list details or different action points. Under discovers affair, we would put how the affair was discovered and how our character feels. What is she going to do? What actions does she take? Instead of yelling at the cheater, maybe she begins to tear up the room, and that prompts the cheater to enter, and then we confront him. See, what this outline does is it gives you a roadmap. Now, will this outline change during your writing? Absolutely. The secret is to change the outline with it. If your story is going in a different direction than your outline, let it evolve. It will become a better story than you originally had in mind, and it will be more fun to write. Speaking of fun, let's talk hooks and cliffhangers. These are essential to writing a good chapter. Have you ever read a book and it took forever for the action to start? Maybe you even flipped a few pages ahead to see if it got any good. Well, a hook prevents that, and a cliffhanger will ensure it doesn't happen in your next chapter. So, what's a hook? A hook is either the first 1 or 2 sentences of a chapter that grabs your reader's attention, while a cliffhanger is the last 3 or 4 sentences at the end of the chapter that makes them ask, what happens next? Here's how to write a hook for your chapter or the beginning of your book. Your character is doing something normal when something not normal happens. For example, Maria stood at the kitchen sink washing the blood from the dishes. That hooks you because it's so visceral and unexpected. Washing the dishes is normal. In fact, someone once wrote that the most boring way to start a story is to have someone wash the dishes. But what steals the show is the blood on the dishes. This makes your readers think, what happened? Let's run with this scenario for the cliffhanger. So Maria just served dinner to her no-good boyfriend. During the dinner, she took a knife and unalived him. She spends a chapter cleaning up the mess, the blood, body, and evidence. She thinks she's in the clear when there is a knock at the door. She answers to find a woman holding a baby who claims to be the wife of her boyfriend. What happens next? A cliffhanger plays on the new normal. This is the world that has been established in your chapter. Maria is no longer washing dishes. No, she is cleaning up a crime scene. She has no idea that the wife and the baby exist because the boyfriend, obviously, never mentioned it. So when the wife shows up, it throws a curve into the new normal. Therefore, a cliffhanger is simply a new normal plus a curve. But when it comes to cliffhangers, the last 2 sentences need to add the sting to drive your readers crazy for more. Let's go back to Maria. She has just answered the door, sees her wife, and in a moment of stupidity invites her in. Maria stepped aside and opened the door wider. She smiled as she kept the knife hidden behind her, the blade still dripping. The sting comes with the knife still being clutched by Maria. Will she attack the woman and the baby? Will the wife find out? What will happen next? That's the cliffhanger. And that's where we will leave off for today. I hope you enjoyed this video about how to outline chapters as well as creating a hook and a cliffhanger. If you did, please subscribe and like this video.